You sit in a chair that smells like synthetic leather and old sweat. The clock on your wall says 3:14 in the morning. The air in your apartment is heavy with the scent of ozone and unwashed ceramic mugs. You are looking at a spreadsheet. It is not yours. You found it on a public server maintained by the Securities and Exchange Commission. The file is an institutional investment report. Specifically, a 13F. You scroll through the rows. The names are familiar. Apple, Microsoft, Exxon. But the owner is always the same. BlackRock. You start to cross-reference the data. You open another tab, then 10 more. You were looking for the nervous system. You were looking for Aladdin. Aladdin is not a person. It is an acronym. It stands for asset, liability, debt, and derivative investment network. It is a proprietary software platform. It lives on 5,000 high-end servers, located in undisclosed data centers in Wenatchee, Washington, and Amherst, New York. It also lives in Europe. It is the private brain of Larry Fink. He was born in one room in 1988. Fink had just lost $100 million at First Boston because he misunderstood the risk of interest rate shifts. He decided he would never be surprised by reality again. He built a system to quantify the world. Now, that system manages over $21 trillion in assets. This is not just BlackRock's money. This is the money of the California State Teachers Retirement System. It is the money of the Saudi Sovereign Wealth Fund. It is the money of the Japan Post Bank.
You lean forward. The monitor flickers. You search for the personnel. You find Friedrich Merz. He is the leader of the Christian Democratic Union in Germany, a man positioned at the highest levels of European governance. From 2016 to 2020, he was the chairman of the supervisory board for BlackRock Germany. You find Philipp Hildebrand. He was the head of the Swiss National Bank, the man who managed the currency of the world's safest haven. Now, he is the vice chairman of BlackRock. You are witnessing the revolving door. It is not a secret conspiracy. It is an operational optimization. The state requires financial intelligence to survive. The algorithm requires political stability to thrive. They exchange personnel to ensure the two systems speak the same language. The individual is not the problem. The structure is the problem. It is a symbiotic loop, where the regulator and the regulated become a single, integrated entity.
You want to know how it works? You find a technical white paper on Monte Carlo simulations. This is the core of Aladdin. A Monte Carlo simulation is a mathematical technique used to estimate the possible outcomes of an uncertain event. It does not predict the future. It simulates the future. Millions of times. Every second. Aladdin takes every possible variable. A hurricane in the Gulf. A labor strike in Marseille. A tweet from a central banker. A drought in Taiwan. It runs these variables through 12,000 computers. It creates a bell curve of probability. It tells the user exactly how much they stand to lose in every possible version of tomorrow. It removes human intuition from the equation. Intuition is a liability. Intuition is what lost Larry Fink his $100 million in 1988.
The room is silent, except for the hum of your refrigerator. You realize the scale of the integration. Aladdin is not just a tool for BlackRock. It is the risk management system for almost every major financial institution on Earth. In 2008, during the Great Financial Crisis, the United States government did not know how to value the toxic assets on the books of Bear Stearns or AIG. They were blind. They called BlackRock. They asked to use Aladdin. The algorithm determined the price of the bailout. The system that manages the world's wealth was used to audit the world's failure. This is documented history.
This is the moment the algorithm became a ghost legislator. You look at the date of the next filing. You realize that during the 2020 pandemic, the Federal Reserve did it again. They hired BlackRock to manage their corporate bond buying program. The Central Bank of the United States used a private algorithm to decide which companies lived and which companies died. This is the monoculture. When everyone uses the same risk management system, everyone sees the same risks. They all sell at the same time. They all buy at the same time. The algorithm does not just predict market movements. It creates them. It is a self-fulfilling prophecy with a $21 trillion budget.
You type the words sovereign platform into your search bar. This is the version of Aladdin designed for national governments. It allows states to monitor their entire economy in real time. It tracks tax revenue. It tracks pension liabilities. It tracks the movement of every cent within a border. It is a digital panopticon for capital. You find documented contracts with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. You find references to the United Arab Emirates. The system is being exported. It is becoming the operating system for the modern state. You feel a dry heat in the back of your throat. You look at the tally of influence. Project 1, the consolidation of the banking sector. Project 2, the integration of environmental, social, and governance metrics, known as ESG. Aladdin uses these metrics to score companies. If your score is low, Aladdin's clients sell your stock. You are starved of capital. You are erased from the market. It is a social credit system for the corporate world. It is not based on morality. It is based on the long-term stability of the system. The algorithm hates volatility. It loves predictability. The status quo.
You start to read the LinkedIn profiles of the engineers. You look for the term unified data record. This is the goal. A single source of truth for every asset on the planet. Everything you own. Everything you owe. Your mortgage. Your car loan. Your credit card debt. It is all bundled into securities. Those securities are analyzed by Aladdin. You are not a customer to this system. You are a data point in a Monte Carlo run. You are one of the millions of variables being simulated at 3 in the morning in a server farm in Washington. The humor of it is bitter. You pay your taxes. You contribute to your pension. You think you are participating in a democracy. But the decisions that govern your life are made by a logic gate. A logic gate that has been programmed to ensure that the system never collapses, even if the people within it do. You find a quote from a former employee. They say that Aladdin is like the air. It is everywhere, but you only notice it when it is gone, or when it is poisonous. You look at your smart meter on the wall. The little red light blinks. It is sending data to the grid. The grid is financed by institutional investors. Those investors use Aladdin. The circle is closed. There is no outside. You realize that the mundane details of your life are connected to this central nervous system. The price of your bread, the interest rate on your debt, the stability of your job. It is all being optimized, not for your benefit, but for the mathematical equilibrium of the 21 trillion. You search for the patent numbers. U.S. Patent 10248910. System for Managing Investment Risk. It is a real document. It describes the process of aggregating data from thousands of sources to create a real-time risk map. It is documented. It is public. It is hidden in plain sight because the language is too boring to read. It is written in the dialect of the bureaucrat. It is written to be ignored. The professional shift in your mind is complete.
You are no longer just looking at a screen. You are looking at a cage built of numbers. You think about the revolving door again. You think about the path from the boardroom of BlackRock to the high offices of state. It is a logical progression. The algorithm needs political stability to function. It needs leaders who understand the requirements of the system. It needs people who will not introduce human error into the simulation. This is not a takeover by force. It is a takeover by necessity. You look at the tally again. The 2008 bailout. The 2020 intervention. The 2023 banking stress. Every time the world breaks, Aladdin is the glue. But the glue is becoming the substance. The system is now too big to fail. Because if Aladdin fails, the risk management for the entire world vanishes. We are back in 1988. We are blind. And the system will not allow itself to be blind.
You reach for your coffee. It is cold. You hear a sound. It is a low-frequency hum. You thought it was the refrigerator. You thought it was the air conditioner. But you listen closer. You press your ear to the wall of your apartment. The hum is coming from the wires. It is the sound of data moving. It is the pulse of the network. It is the sound of 12,000 computers running a simulation where you do not exist, where only your debt exists. The revelation is cold. You are not the explorer. You are the subject. You found Aladdin, but Aladdin found you decades ago. It knows your spending habits. It knows your risk profile. It knows when you will retire. It has already simulated your life 1,000,000 times to see how it affects the price of the insurance bonds in a portfolio in Singapore. You are a rounding error in a $21 trillion calculation.
You close the laptop. The room goes dark. But the hum does not stop. The smart meter continues to blink. The phone in your pocket continues to track your location. The data continues to flow to the centers in Wenatchee. The current state of the system is unregulated. It is unaccountable. It is private. It is the most powerful infrastructure ever built by man. And it is owned by a single company. The legal status of this system is untouchable. It is protected by trade secret laws. It is protected by its own complexity. No regulator in the world can audit $21 trillion of algorithmic logic. They do not have the hardware. They do not have the math. They simply accept the reports that Aladdin generates. They trust the machine because they have no other choice. You lie down in bed. The sheets are thin polyester. You feel the weight of the room. You realize that the world is no longer run by men in smoke-filled rooms. It is run by a sterile, cold, and incredibly efficient logic. It is a world where the unexpected is the only enemy, where the human spirit is just another form of volatility to be smoothed out. The simulation for today is over. The results are in. The system is stable. The 21 trillion is safe. You close your eyes, but you can still see the glowing blue lines of the map. You can still hear the hum. You realize that you are not sleeping. You are just waiting for the next simulation to begin. You close the laptop, but the hum does not stop. You know the simulation is already running again. Without you, the algorithm is running. The pulse is steady. You do not feel the fear. You do not feel anything. You are exactly where the system needs you to be. You are a variable that has been accounted for. The world is owned. The world is managed. The world is Aladdin.